All right, this is a regular city council meeting of the City of Ocean Shores. It is February 25th, 2025, and the time is 6 p.m. The meeting is being held at the Ocean Shores Convention Center. The meetings are simulcast and archived on KOSW Radio. Meetings are live streamed with closed captioning and may be accessed on the city website under council recordings. The meetings can be viewed on cable channel 68 Thursdays at 12 p.m. and Sundays at 10 a.m. We have roll call, please.
Councilmember Sires?
Here.
Councilmember Taylor?
Here.
Councilmember Griebel?
Here.
Councilmember Scott?
Here.
Councilmember Wills?
Here.
Councilmember Hartman?
Here.
Need a motion to make a motion to excuse Allison Klein from tonight's meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Pledge of Allegiance. Tom. Thank you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, can we have an approval of the meeting agenda?
I'd like to make a motion to amend tonight's agenda. I would like to have agenda items number 1, 2, 12, and 14 removed as the presenters are not here due to family emergencies.
Second.
All right, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks. So we don't have any ceremonies or proclamations.
You need to approve as amended.
Oh, that's right. Can we get an approval of the
I make a
amended
motion
agenda?
to approve the amended agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we're ready to go. Announcements, board and committee vacancies. There are 4 vacancies on the Parks Board, 2 vacancies on the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee, 7 vacancies on the Fresh Waterways Advisory Committee, and 1 vacancy on the Library Board of Trustees. For appointments, I would like to appoint Connie Clifford, James Pace, and Jeff Owen to the Fresh Waterways Advisory Committee with council consensus. All right, thank you. I also would like to reappoint Jeff Bilery to the Parks Board with council consensus.
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, next we're on to public communication. Public communication to council is intended for communication to the city council regarding general council business or policy not on tonight's agenda. Address comments or questions to the city council body, not to an individual member or to city staff. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. We request that your comments be nice and respectful. This is not a question and answer time, and the council cannot engage in conversation with the public. No person may use the public comment for the purpose of campaign or advertisement. The city council will begin the time once the citizen has started their public comment. At 2 minutes, you will see a green light, followed by a yellow light indicating 30 seconds remain of your public comment period. The red light will notify the reader that the public comment time has ended. Order of public comments. First will be individuals attending in person. Second, individuals attending remotely. The general public comment, whether in person or remotely, will continue in the usual position on the agenda. So do we have anybody for public comment?
I hate to torture you for after having read all that, but for the first time since I've ever been here, we have no public comment except for on item 13, which is an online public comment.
All right, so moving right along then, huh? We have a staff report next, and that'll be City Administrator Scott Anderson.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'll talk a little bit about the fire department. They were busy in January. They ran almost 250 calls, 249 calls. They have 5 new firefighter volunteer recruits that are currently in the vetting process for the department. They are starting a cadet program for youth ages 14 to 18 years old. This is something that the mayor really wanted to see done, and Chief Ritter is now moving forward on it with the first informational meeting to be held at the Ocean Shores Fire Department on Thursday, March 6th at 6 p.m. So 6 p.m. So if you know of anyone of that age between 14 and 18, or you have family or friends that go to North Beach High School, please encourage them to come down and find out more. Parent or guardian must be in attendance for that meeting unless the candidate is 18 years of age. And the program is really designed and intended to introduce fire and EMS services to our youth. It's not an emergency response program, but selected candidates will receive volunteer hour credits for their graduation. And Chief Ritter, on a side note, wanted to thank council. They have received their new SCBA air packs and their compressor. The fire department recognizes this was a large purchase for the city, and they had to replace that old equipment. But these packs will help keep the fire department safe and breathing clean air in extremely toxic environments. And the other item I have on the agenda, just because some people had mentioned this, Councilmember Sayers at the Public Works Committee meeting, an update and on the background of the Tsunami Tower and where we are with that. So the Tsunami Tower project has been split into phases due to funding needs. In 2019, when we first went to build that tower, we built it, or we were going to build it based on a match of the shoal waters. And the structure we wanted to create was extremely similar to the shoal water bays, and it was also similar in cost. And then, of course, COVID happened. The price of raw materials went up. Everything increased in costs. And at the end of the day, we were no longer looking at a $4.5 million structure, but a $9 million structure. So in 2023, we went back to FEMA for additional funding, recognizing that we couldn't afford to do that. Phase 1 of this project will be 95% complete when the drawings and specs of the tower are finalized. At that time, when we have those drawings and specs, the city's going to close out our original BRIC grant and return those funds back to FEMA. But then in phase 2 of the project for construction, the city, with FEMA's help and with Washington Emergency Management's help, is going to apply for a secondary BRIC grant that will cover the construction costs of this. The current match for the 2019 BRIC grant will be kept and be contributed as the new grant. And we met with our Representative Steve Theringer, who has money that we were afforded through the Department of Commerce. And we are simply going to ask for an extension for that money. And actually, Theringer's office has volunteered to ask for it on our behalf. So we're very confident that we will get that extension. And then we can begin, finally, the construction phase of our new Tsunami Tower. It is designed, this first one, to hold 400 people, but realistically, it can hold as many as 800. It will have potable water, it'll have a potable bathroom, and emergency communications devices, so we can relay whoever we need to relay at Department of Emergency Management and or our fire department for those who are up there. And the city is hoping to commence construction in late 2026. So hopefully that'll go as we planned. That's it for tonight.
All right, thanks, Scott. Denise, would you like to start us off for our liaison and committee reports?
Yeah, sure. I met with Council Member Hartman, and thank you very much for an overview of all of the work that he has done on LTAC, as well as giving me, about 2 feet of files that I have to go through. So thank you to him for that transition. I met with also with the mayor and with Sarah regarding LTAC. Council member Wills and I met in regards to the short-term occupancy facilities standards, and I attended Public Works.
All right, thanks. Tom?
Alrighty, I actually missed my first one with Parks, but I did had communication with them, and we need to look into probably installing some cameras if we have some to cover the parks because apparently they got shot at by BBs or whatever. So we need to try to update that security on them.
Yes, Denise.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back again to mention Public Works. We did receive an updated plan of the 2025-26 projects, all 20 pages of it. And basically, we covered some of the highlights. Scott already talked about the tsunami. We talked about the status of the Gulf Bridge, the berm completion, the soffits, and the water tanks, and also the good news that we are going to be working with the University of Washington Livable City program for a comprehensive plan for Point Brown.
All right, thanks. Lisa Griebel.
Thank you. I have nothing to report tonight.
All right, Lisa Scott.
I attended agenda setting. I also attended the library board meeting. I will have further details on that at the March meeting. Also, the golf course, the revenue is up for January, which is really good. The weather was spectacular, so oddly enough, the revenue's up. That's normally a difficult time of the year. Also, the nets are out for bid. When do you expect them in? Tomorrow. So just to replace the nets out there so the driving range can be open, those hopefully we'll get good bids back. So we're on track with the golf course. Again, they brought a new pro on. He was here and introduced, I think, at the meeting that I was absent from. So they're trudging away, doing pretty good.
All right, thanks. Richard.
Thank you. So I signed warrants. I sign warrants each Friday. I met with Mayor Alduin yesterday, in fact. We had a great conversation about things that are going on in the city. That's education, I think, for both of us. I attended the radio board meeting this morning. The radio board is exploring ways to increase income, and the good news there is the long-range goal is for them to become fiscally independent. So they're looking at ways to increase their income. And they are also discussing ways to make their website more user-friendly. If you've been on the website, different devices display differently, and that's a software kind of an issue. And so they're exploring who and how to resolve that issue, and also the play button. When you want to stream, how do you get the app to stream? And so all of those things are being looked at, and hopefully they'll have a solution soon. And that's all I have.
All right, thanks. Rich.
I attended agenda setting and Public Works and Council of Governments. I've got some updates from the members of the Council of Governments. WashDOT is going to start in spring a new fish barrier project on the Quinault Nation on Highway 109 and 101. It'll start spring and end winter of 25. Council of Governments approved their budget for 2025 and the dues. They're going to keep our dues the same as they were last year. For those of you that don't know, we pay $21,529 to be a member of Council of Governments. They've added a planner to their staff to help cities with ADA and safety plans and to help them get grants for those projects. In the city of Elma, the police are moving into their new-to-them building. They received a USDA grant through Congressman Kilmer before he left to help pay for it. Hoquiam, as is Aberdeen, is now doing a train noise study. McCleary is entering the design phase of their 3rd Street project. Westport is, this is hard to believe, battling with ecology on their shoreline management plan, and they have a new city administrator as well. They're also working on a skate park. And Transit has a brand new software system that includes an app that residents can use to help schedule a bus ride, similar to what Olympia has already. That's all I have.
Thanks, Rich. Did WashDOT say anything about maybe finishing one of those projects on
The official dates
on
we
Highway
have
1?
that you and I are familiar with, 101 and 109 in Grays Harbor, Jefferson, and Clallam counties, started in 23. They say will end in 27. And
And they're starting more. That's awesome.
yes, I was trying to see if there was a, here we go. US 12 and State Route 8 to Olympia says winter of 25 is their completion date, supposedly.
Be nice to get that done and maybe before you start another one anyway. All right, thanks, Rich. I want to let everybody know our temporary berm held up very well through this last storm. I talked with Marshall and he was really happy with the performance of that berm out there. So anyway, Scott and Fire Chief Brian Ritter and myself went to Olympia to talk to our state representatives and our senator about help with putting a fire break down the rest of the peninsula. Adam Birnbaum, our representative, is contacting Ecology on our behalf to help us get this fire break between the homes and the thick brush that we have going on right now. We need this for protection of the homes and also for the protection of lives and a path for our fire department to get down there and fight the fires. I don't know if anybody's been down there to look at any of that, but it's so thick you can't even walk through it. So it's a dangerous situation. I got to say thank you to Adam because he set up our first meeting, which will be tomorrow. So he's getting right after it. And he's going to help us as much as he can with the hurdles that we got to deal with ecology on that. So that he got right on it. So I was very, very happy with that. And that was an impressive thing from him because he's really busy right now with the wrapping up what's going on there in Olympia with legislation. On March 10th, we have a conditional use permit hearing for the walk-in clinic. That'll be at 10 a.m. here at the Convention Center, and they will allow public comment to be taken at the meeting, so you can come to the meeting and speak what you'd like to say about the walk-in clinic and let the examiner know how we all feel about that. Also on March 4th at 6 p.m., we are having a town hall on our black slime issue that is showing up in not everyone, but in people's faucets, shower heads, and toilets. We will have CJ Alliance there and Univar Solutions, and they will discuss solutions for fixing this problem, and they will take questions after their presentation. So if you would like to be here in person to ask questions, that'd be great. It will be also available on Zoom. So you can go to the city website under the calendar and click onto that Zoom link and you can watch it at home. So that's all I have. Consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, we got a public hearing coming up, so we will recess the regular city council meeting at 6:18 and convene into a public hearing. A public hearing before the city council of the city of Ocean Shores, Washington, to hear testimony for or against the sale of surplus properties, and this will be presented by myself. So, anybody, I guess I'll give my 2 cents here. A public hearing is going to be for properties that we considered surplus properties. They're on Point Brown. There's 2 that are tied together and 1 single one, and those are north of the James Building, if everybody knows where those are. And so we've brought that forward to sell those properties, and we talked about putting that money away for a police station. That's what the council was interested in. So anybody have any public comment? All right. I guess that's going to end our hearing, huh? We will close this public hearing and reconvene the regular city council meeting at 6:20. All right, so we have some old business here, and it's a resolution of the City Council of the City of Ocean Shores, Washington, to adopt a revised city council guidelines and procedures, and that'll be presented by Denise Sears. Seems your partner's not here today, so.
Let's hope she recovers soon. We had the first reading of this at our last council meeting, and there were suggestions for changes and clarification from council. So I'd like to go through those. It's on page 20 of the agenda, which is actually page 2 of the council guidelines. And under the preamble, you should have in red, if you've printed it out that way. Otherwise, it's the last 2 sentences that have been changed. And it says one of the questions was, when is a mayor pro tem elected? And we've clarified that to say that the council shall elect a mayor pro tempore at the first regularly scheduled meeting of the following year after a council election year. So therefore, the election will fall on even years only. There was some question previously. We said when a new council was formed. So hopefully that takes care of the clarification. Okay, the next change in it is on page 24 of your agenda, page 6 of the guidelines. And it was regarding when an individual could speak on a specific agenda item if it had been removed from the council. That happened to us previously, and there was confusion of citizens who wanted to testify on something, even if it's been removed. So we have F, which says, if an individual wishes to speak on a specific agenda item, however, that agenda item has been removed by the City Council, the mayor will ask during public communication to council if an individual would still like to make a public comment on the removed item. So again, hopefully that takes care of the clarification, and it does give citizens an opportunity, if they hadn't signed up for public comment before, to give their opinion and their comment at that point. The next change is on page 7 of the guidelines, page 25 of our agenda, and it's the last sentence under part 4, where it talks about the standing committees listed in the aforementioned section of this document do not alternate the standing committee provisions provided in Ocean Shores Chapter Municipal Code, Chapter 2.59. And that is sort of to clarify that we list standing committees will include Public Works, Finance, and Public Safety, as well as Ethics. But in our municipal code, we list 3 ongoing standing committees, which are Finance, Public Works, and Public Safety. Any questions or comments? I'll just keep going through. Yeah, Rich?
So under this part 4, it says, quote, members appointed by the council, when in our city, they're appointed by the mayor. Second sentence. Sorry, first sentence, second line.
Yeah. How do you recommend we make that change?
mayor versus council.
I'd strike council and put mayor in there.
Yeah.
That'll take care of it.
Sorry, anytime it's just referring to council, just make sure it says mayor, because there's the second sentence also starts with the council will appoint. And the third. Nicole, did you get that? Okay.
Thank you for catching that. Yeah, Richard?
So I also have on that same part 4, in the red text, do not alternate the standing committees. And alternate means this follows that. And I think that word was intended to say alter instead of alternate.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you get that, Nicole? And then there is another change on page 8, page 26 of our agenda, and it's under committee governance and oversight. And this is not in red, where we talk about, I'll read the first sentence. It says, if a committee member or member of the public feels that there is a problem with the manner in which the committee is being managed or governed, the committee member or member of the public should speak with the committee chair first. And when we had our committee meeting, we changed the speak to say that the public should put in writing, should write to the committee chair first. And in the last sentence, the same thing, the public can write to the council member liaison about their concerns. And the discussion related to that was that if somebody felt there was a problem as to way something was being managed or governed, that they might be very reluctant to actually talk to the person about it.
Can we maybe say written communication instead of just written? Just for the sake of it. A little bit cleaner.
And then on page 9 of the guidelines, this again was something that Sarah added related to the council member replacement process. And the third paragraph under Part 6 says disclosure. Any records relating to filling vacancies in elective office, including the names of applicants and their application materials, are subject to disclosure under the Public Records Act. While RCW 42.56.250(1)B exempts public employment applications from disclosure, this exemption specifically excludes applications for vacancies in elective office. And that is just to ensure that anyone who is applying knows that their information is subject to being published. And the last change on page 10 or 28 of R48 is under, again, this selection process, replacement process. And it is just a reference to the RCW on Section E. Mayor and council will discuss qualifications in the executive session, and executive session is qualified by under RCW 42.30.110(1)H. So any questions about those?
We'll have public comment next.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? Yes, go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Jane Shattuck, Ocean Shores resident. On that Part 4, that change on Part 4, there is a problem with the mayor doing it just as the mayor because you added the Ethics Committee to that, and the Ethics Committee was being chosen by council and not the mayor when we rewrote the ethics. So I'm maybe put in there mayor or council, but since that ethics committee is on there, council was the one that did that. Mayor was not the one that did the appointment of those members.
All right, any other comments? All right, council. Lisa and then Richard.
So ethics isn't a standing committee for the city. It's not recognized as a standing committee. Yeah, I get that, but I think we need to do it differently than just our guidelines because we added, I know we added public safety, but there's 3 standing committees, so I don't know, outside of having it been an ad hoc committee, I don't know if we need to do something more official if you want to make it a standing committee. I don't have the answer to that.
Anybody want to comment on that last? All right, Richard.
So I've actually got a couple of things, and back on page 22 on the council guidelines for public communication, at the last time we brought this up, there was a large discussion over the word citizen, and citizen is has a very specific definition, and I think that it's important for our municipal codes to be clear and concise. So I would like to suggest that we change item number 1 and put above that and define citizen. So I would say, for the purpose of this document, the word citizen refers to any person wishing to address the mayor or the city council. And that just, the reason I think that's important is citizen is used several times in this document. And I look for a synonym that could replace synonym that didn't specify the dictionary definition. I didn't find one. And so if we just said, every time we use citizen, it means anybody who actually wants to talk to the city legislature. And if the council agrees with that, great. And if the council doesn't, that's also great.
All right, that's open for discussion. Yes, Lisa.
So the only issue I have with that is we have people that aren't citizens that want to address the council. So I don't necessarily 100% agree with that.
And thank you. And that's precisely why I think that we need to define citizen as anybody who wants to address the legislative body. And then, so because if we say citizen, are they a citizen of Ocean Shores? Are they a citizen of Grays Harbor? Are they a citizen of this country or another country? The citizen covers all of those. And we have had so much contention over the 9 years I've been attending council because things weren't clearly defined, that I think that by defining citizen as anybody who wants to speak, but that's a clumsy word to say 11 different times or however many times citizen is used. So I just like defining citizen as anybody who wants to speak. And I'm open to other interpretations. But I think, as you just said, who does citizen mean?
Yeah, I agree, Richard. I think that's the best way is to define it at the beginning and then use citizen throughout, but to define what it means.
And let's see if there's anything else.
Yeah.
So with part 4, I would like to strike the ethics committee because standing committees are typically those functions of city business. And I think the ethics committee would be like any other committees that we have, like Parks Board or anything that, so just as far as standing committees go, I think it can just become a committee. For the ad hoc purposes, anytime we have an ad hoc, we typically as council will vote to put people on that because it's a temporary committee. But something like this, I'm fine. The mayor should, I think, would appoint based upon the guidelines themselves. Just my suggestion.
So, Lisa, if we take ethics out, then it would seem to me that we don't need the qualification at the end of that.
Yeah, that'd probably be correct, yeah. Scott, I mean, I'm going to look at you because you're more the legalese for the rest of us.
Well, go ahead. Wait. Let Richard go first, and then I'll.
So one of the other things that I wanted to address is just what you're addressing, and the note that I wrote to myself is I'm confused. Is the ethics and guideline committee an ad hoc committee, or is it a new committee, or is it part of the standing safety committee? And I think that's just not very well defined. It's confusing in my mind.
It was set up as an ad hoc.
Okay. And I'm not sure that this document actually says that, and I think it's an easy thing to fix. And I think that Lisa's suggestion fixed it.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Say it one more time. What was your solution then?
Let's let Lisa reframe it because
Yeah.
Okay, so the ethics committee was established as an ad hoc committee. It was a temporary committee given a job to do, which they have done. They did a great job. We've got the documents. We're approving them. So theoretically, that's done now. But if we want to establish an ethics committee, it's not a standing committee for the city of Ocean Shores. However, it can become just a regular committee. If the intention is to meet every month to do things, great. But other than that, that'd be up to you guys how you wanted to handle that. I mean, in terms of establishing something.
It's hard for me to say because I don't know, like the parameters of how often it's going to be employed. That's the problem.
Well, I thought of it as an ad hoc committee when I looked at it.
It makes the most sense, I think. When an issue arises, then you come back to the committee. I don't think it has to be something that meets on a regular basis if you have nothing to discuss.
We can definitely establish an ad hoc committee when necessary.
That's what
Okay.
I recommend.
Say strike the ethics committee in the last red line there, and should be good.
Yeah, that makes more sense because that last, that red section was trying to define, or I should say clarify, which it really didn't, the fact that there are only 3 standing committees that are listed in our municipal code.
So
Yes, go ahead, Richard.
part of that same discussion, and I didn't write this note down, so I'm drawing on memory, but there's a section in there where we nominate 12 persons, potentially to 12 civilians to potentially be on that ad hoc committee. Is that making sense? And I think that creating that list is great, and then we draw from that list when we appoint an ad hoc committee, and that only happens when there's an ethics complaint. So I hope that makes, does that make sense? Okay. Like I said, I was drawing from memory so.
Do we have any other comments from the council? All right. What would the council like to do?
So that's a lot of changes, but they're all pretty minor changes. And I think that, Nicole, did you get all of those changes, Nicole?
I wrote it all down. Yeah.
Can you take it from your notes and put it into the document, or do we need to bring the document back with those changes? Because these are all actually pretty insignificant changes, but they're important changes. And so I'm laid in on the city clerk to say, yes, I can bring this back with all of the things we just decided on, or we need to write it down and let the council look at it one more time. And you're the expert there, not me.
I'm not an expert. I would feel more comfortable if you looked at it again. Just me personally, because day one.
Okay, I guess that's what we'll do then. We'll
Do we need a
bring it
motion?
back with the changes. Richard, you have
That's
something?
what I would say. Do we need a motion to do that, or can we just say bring it back with the changes?
We can do that. No action.
Okay. And I also want to say, I really appreciate all of the work that went into creating this document. It's a convoluted document because it's a convoluted subject, and I want to express my gratitude to the committee. And it's hard to have to keep redoing this, but it's important that we get it done right. So, thank you.
That sounds good. Thanks, Richard. All right, the next one up is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Ocean Shores, Washington, declaring 3 city-owned properties surplus and authorizing the sale of those properties. And again, I'll say those properties are on Point Brown. I think you all got an email from me today that we had been given some misinformation, and that was straightened out. Another thing that's interesting is the assessment of those properties went down this year. So that was in the paperwork also on that. But we have no plans for those properties, and there's, single property on the canal, and the double lot on the canal is not enough room for what we have planned to do. So anyway, I guess we can go to public comment. No public comment on that? Council?
We have one online.
Oh,
one online public.
One online, all right, thank you.
Don, can you hear me?
Yeah, are we on?
We are on. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to say when those lots were bought back in 2017, many people couldn't figure out why they were ever purchased because this doesn't really lend itself. The 2 lots that are contiguous are actually separated from the 3rd lot by, I think that building is called the JJ building, not the James building. And then an empty lot, and then comes the 3rd lot. So it's not all that great for building. We tried to put a police station on the 2 lots up on the north end, but that required a basement. And of course, the water table is much above the basement floor. So that didn't really work out. Anyhow, my questions I looked up the assessments, and I saw that the what's in the papers are not the right one. That's come down quite a bit since then. So I think you have the right numbers. I won't go into them. The other question is those lots were purchased out of fund number 3. I think it's 301, the Capital Improvement Fund. And my question is when the lots get sold, and I guess you're going to sell them either together or individually, whatever you can do. It's up to the city. But I like to make sure that money goes back into Fund 301, and you might even consider setting up a reserve so it won't get taken away. A reserve for apparently what the mayor said, the police station, a new police station, so that the money doesn't get misplaced elsewhere. So I prefer to see it go to 301, and with a line item being a reserve for a future police station. And I think those are my comments. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Don. I think that's council's intent was to put it back and earmark it for our police station. So any comments or questions by the council? Yes, Richard.
Well, I would like to make a motion that we pass the resolution of the City Council of the City of Ocean Shores, Washington, declaring the 3 city-owned properties surplus and authorizing the sale of those properties.
Second.
All right, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, we have no discussion, no executive session. So we have Agenda Review Committee, which will be this Thursday at 9 a.m. via Zoom, and that'll be Council Member Scott, Taylor, and Wills. So now we have good of the order, and we can start at the other end. Rich.
I have nothing.
All right, Richard.
The first thing that I want to do is offer Sarah my condolences. I think we all feel the same way. That's a hard thing to have to take, but there it is. So my condolences, Sarah, and my best wishes for you and your family. And the other thing that I wanted to say is what glorious news to hear that the berm did its job and withstood the onslaught. That was a pretty bad storm. So thanks, Marshall, and all of the people that were involved in the designing and building of that berm. And those are the things that I have. Thank you.
Yes, Lisa.
I'd like to echo what Richard said. Condolences to both Nikki and Sarah. That's a terrible tragedy. And then I just would again like to thank the ad hoc committee for the ethics. You guys worked really hard, did a great job, and I think next council meeting we'll hopefully get that passed.
All right, thanks. Lisa Griebel.
Thank you, Mayor. I think that there is a council chat Thursday, and I just wanted to, if nobody knows the exact, I think it's 6 o'clock Thursday here, and there's 3 council members, so if people have specifically, I know I'm not on the chat, but if somebody is, if they could do that as part of the good of the order and do an invite, that'd be great.
All right, thank you. Tom.
Everybody wants to come in, chat. Come in on a Thursday. I'll be here talking.
All right. Denise.
I'll also be at the chat along with Richard and Tom. I also obviously want to give my condolences to Nikki and Sarah. There's not much to say except that we feel for you and wish you the strength to get through it. I would also like to say thank you and welcome to the new board and committee members. We've had a lot of openings, and we depend on our citizens to volunteer, give up their time, and give us their expertise. So thank you for all who are doing that, and I encourage those who have not signed up yet to look at the openings and see if any fall within your interests.
All right, thank you. So I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.